Good afternoon, Net Worth Nation, aka your console Ron G, coming to you live and direct today. I wanted to talk to you guys today about a very interesting topic, of course. I think it'll make sense as we get into it, but I wanted to talk about the top seven keys that I believe most successful businesses possess. The top seven keys that I believe that most successful businesses possess. And I want to start out with number one: low startup costs. Low startup costs. Now, I know you think that this is obviously that everyone thinks that way, but not necessarily. A lot of times when we think about business models, sometimes we're thinking about getting up thousands of dollars, saving up thousands of dollars, and sometimes we'll even go in with some of our life savings or money that we've been putting away for quite some time. And some of the risk with that is that if for some reason or another the model doesn't quite work out the way that you intended, and you potentially could lose thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands of dollars in a startup investment, it could demoralize you in ways that actually knocks the business idea completely out of your system. And that's something that you definitely don't want. So, again, keep in mind the low startup costs. I think most successful businesses are able to come in at relatively low costs. My second one, number six, can you start selling relatively quickly? Okay, again, is this a model that you can relatively quickly get in and start making things happen? So, if you want to think about an example of a model of something that you start today and is selling literally tomorrow, just think of it more along the line. Let's say if you had a vending machine business, right? Most likely, as soon as you put those products in that machine, within the next day or so, depending on where the machine is located, you probably are going to start turning sales relatively quickly, right? Another model I can think of, you start doing Uber Eats. As soon as you become active on the platform, get all your paperwork and everything up and running, and turn that switch on, orders start coming in relatively quickly. So again, this is something that you want to look at. This is a model that you want to have. So most of them have that as well. Another thing I would say is that most businesses that are successful have what we call relatively low fixed costs. Does your plan have your blueprint have low fixed costs? So if you're thinking about fixed costs, you're thinking about things like rents, uh, the cost of doing business, could be a fleet of vehicles, rents, um, internet, things like that, that you have to have. So, for example, if I opened up a breakfast shop in a strip mall, the average cost of breakfast products are anywhere between six, seven, eight, $9. Relatively inexpensive meal out of all the meals. But if my overhead is relatively high, my fixed overhead, like my rent and different licenses that I have to pay for, are pricey, it could cause me to run into a problem when it's time for me to sell my products, because most times those fees run downhill, meaning that the cost of that breakfast has to take for an account of my overhead and all those other costs. So again, you want to make sure that your fixed products are relatively low and under control. Most successful businesses uh, will have that. Another good thing you want to have is a very solid reoccurring revenue stream with your business. Like, does your business have a reoccurring revenue, or is it a one time service and you're done? So, a lot of successful businesses, for example, like the AC unit that we bought here for this location. We bought the AC service. It was a one-time purchase. However, the company was able to sell us a service plan. Why? Because most people want their air conditioners working, all year round. I live in Florida, so I need it working, right? And so I absolutely bought a service plan so that now when the technician comes out twice a year, making sure Freon and things of that nature are in there, they're also finding ways to continue to engage with the customer, in this case being myself. So again, does your business plan have some form of reoccurring package to it, something that money can come in even when sales have kind of, iced itself down? Good point there. Another thing is, does your business have a great monetization plan? Now, I get it. A lot of us say, well, what the heck is that, right? Monetization plan. I never thought about that. Well, obviously, we're working in a very different universe from now than maybe 15 to 20 years ago. But most businesses now have to think about monetization plans, meaning that, do you have a plan that has like a subscription model to it, where someone subscribes to your company, they get extended or additional products and services or whatever that goes along with the original sale. Like example, with the AC example that I gave a couple of minutes ago. Another thing you may want to consider is the potential of promoting and maybe running ads or joint venturing with promotions for other companies, just like I can do right here on my YouTube channel. If I chose to, I could promote other companies that are out there listening to my audience, and so those companies would absolutely enjoy my subscriber base to maybe potentially tap into their products. So that's another way you can get income, like an affiliate marketing type of thing. So those are the types of things that you need to think about. Most successful businesses do have a way of tapping into that universe to continue leveling up their businesses. Does your business have a high profit margin, right? Does your business have a high profit margin? So it really behooves you to have a business that brings in a ton of revenue, if most of that revenue is going out in expenses or in the cost of doing business. So, like in case in point, I mean, even thinking about, I know I gave an example earlier, but let's look at the uh, Uber model. When someone goes out in Uber, the first thing you have to think about, even before you go out, is how is the vehicle? Is the vehicle service? Is it has its oil changes? Is everything good? How's the tires, right? Then you have to think about the cleanliness of the vehicle. Are you going to subscribe to some kind of a cleaning service for your car, because you want your car to look spiffy, clean, and tip top shape? Because again, most tips will come from Uber drivers who have clean, professional cars. Another thing is the gas that you put in the car. So you have to think about all of that. And so when you go out and you say you made $60 or $100 or $80, you have to make sure that what you did to get that $100 was worth your while. Otherwise, you can't really look at the $100 as being a good profit margin, And so a lot of businesses that are unfortunately making good sales, but their expenses are high, that really is not a good successful model. So most successful businesses will have that model. And then the last one is this something you can do for the next 5 to 10 years comfortably? The next 5 to 10 years comfortably, meaning that you're not chomping at the bits after a couple of years to jump out and go do something else. You didn't get into this business to say, hey, man, I'm just going to get into this business, try to make a boatload of money so that I can go over here and do this and do that. Because again, I think you're depriving yourself of the real goal that you need, because you need to have gotten into your business yesterday, right? And if you're not starting today, you're already behind the eight ball. So the goal is to get started as soon as possible, so you don't have the time to squander 2, 3, 4, 5 years in a business model just because you're trying to generate revenue to get into the real business that you always wanted to start. So again, I hope this helps. These were my top 7 reasons that I believe most businesses remain successful and have stayed successful. In the meantime, in between time, guys, appreciate you. See you soon on the next video. Ron G, aka your console, the Net Worth Nation. Peace. I'm out.